right into it. What a great game. Holy,
Yeah.
thoroughly entertained the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, really, there's nothing a lot more that you can say. I was very impressed by the production quality of what they managed to get done with the graphics and the video quality. The announcers were both fantastic. For a debut in a season that is so unorthodox, just having a hockey broadcast that was just an objectively good hockey broadcast, there's no better way to get people into a season like that. And I was engaged right from the first puck drop. It was fantastic.
The mask drop was like
It was amazing.
It was a nice
Drop
little
the mask.
Also, for those who don't know, so we've already introduced myself and Nick. We have Mike Gold on, who I met over Twitter. Why don't you just talk a little bit about your credentials and who you are?
My credentials? I don't have any credentials. I am a accredited idiot. I went to school for it. I write at a lot of different places. I write about the NHL. I write about the Calgary Flames and the Arizona Coyotes, two of the most mediocre teams in the sport, but hopefully they'll get better. And I am also relatively new to this National Women's Hockey League, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's been good so far.
So Mike here is unfortunately cheering for the Rivs. So we've got two very sad Six fans and a happy Rivs fan, and we're just going to break down the game and like what we saw. Like right off the bat, I thought the tempo was great. I'm really impressed by the speed. Like even from what I saw in the CWHL when we kind of got to catch a couple games there, like the speed already in the NWHL this season's beyond that. It's really impressive, and that's kind of what really grabbed my attention off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think also one of the things that we were worried about as Six fans, despite, coming off a 3-0 loss, I think it could have certainly been a lot worse. They mentioned it on the broadcast. This is a team that's never played together as a unit. And, despite that, and despite not ending up putting one behind Sonia Shelley, I thought the chemistry was good, and I thought the energy was good from the Six. So, can't complain too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when we had Alyssa Turner on the podcast, the last episode, like she mentioned, she's really high on Metro. She has them, I think, second. She has them playing Boston in the final as her top two teams. So a 3-0 loss, especially with an empty net goal, is like pretty respectable. But like, Mike, what are your thoughts on how the Rivs played?
Well, I thought the first period they were definitely the better team, the better of the two teams. They seemed more prepared from the get-go. I mean, that's nothing to fault on the part of the Six. I mean, a brand new team hasn't been together as a unit for very long. It's always going to be a little bit of a struggle to get going. But I thought that the teams, I thought that the Six really progressed as the game went on. I mean, my goodness, the shot count by the end of the game, I mean, 40-19. Kidding me? I mean, that even out surpassed my expectations would have been for what it would have been watching the game. But I was very impressed by how the Six sort of adapted to match the tempo of the game as it went along, and both the goaltenders in the game were terrific, I thought. And even who was it? It was Kelly Babstock, I think, who played as the goaltender for the Riveters. And that one play that was very, very, very close, sort of similar to a play in the Coyotes game last night with Victor Soderstrom keeping the puck off the goal line in his first game for his new team. Kelly Babstock in her first game for her new team, showing that sort of defensive flair and the offensive flair. Very, very good showing, I thought, from Kelly Babstock, even as her team sort of struggled to get those shots on net in the later two periods. I thought it was a very complete effort from the Riveters, but something to very definitely be proud of from the Six's perspective. Definitely something to build off.
Yeah, and you could definitely see them get more comfortable with each other and build that chemistry throughout the game. Like you said, the Rivs were definitely the better team in the first period, but you could kind of see those flashes of like what the Six could do. And as the game progressed, like you just saw them kind of come together, and you saw the power play even. Like I thought they were standing around a little bit too much at the beginning, but they kind of got more movement, settled into their systems, because they haven't really been able to practice those with only, I think Alyssa said it was 10 players on the ice at once for their practices. So it's going to take some getting used to, and it's a tough opening game. But like I thought it was great, and I thought they held their own at the very least through the last 40 minutes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately for that shutout, I was really trying to jinx it there on Twitter because
Well, yeah.
as a goalie myself, as a lacrosse goalie, there's no better way to ruin a shutout than mentioning it, but it didn't work. Very
well,
sad.
two terrific performances in this game, and I think the Toronto goaltender, I forget, I'm blanking on her name right now. Chuli.
Elaine Chuli.
Yeah, I think for Chuli, that was I'm pretty sure that was her first game in the league.
I think
First game in the NWHL. Yeah, she played
Yeah.
a couple seasons in the C-Dub, but
Okay.
yeah, first NWHL game for Elaine Chuli.
Yeah, and I again, I'm very impressed by what I saw from Chuli too, especially, 3 goals on 19 shots, first glance doesn't sound great, but some of those saves that she made, I thought were really quite impressive, especially just getting out her pad quickly to stop a deflected chance. There were a few of them that I thought were very nice.
Yeah. A couple mishandles I noticed for her on the puck, though, like in her own, behind her own net. I am not of the team.
With both goalies, you saw that.
Yeah.
Goalies. And I think it's also just like that big layoff with COVID, too. Even the goalies who played in the before, they haven't seen game action in almost a full year. So you're going to have those jitters. And, it's going to take some time to work that out. But overall, 2 very strong performances. I think that first goal, I think if she had settled in a little bit, maybe we could have held them off more than a minute. But yeah, you can see
1 second. We held them off for a minute.
Okay, 70 seconds then. But yeah, I think good things to come from both goalies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just want to say, just once again, just an amazing, great looking product that we got today. I mean, what a beautiful arena. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous setting for the game. I mean, throwbacks to the 2002 Olympics. My goodness, I love the ceiling. I love the two uniforms on display. Just a fantastic display of everything the league has to offer. I love that.
Yeah, and with the Rivs goals too, the celebration with the lights coming.
Oh, that was incredible.
Fantastic.
I hope they do different ones, different colors and stuff for every team. That would be really cool. I'm disappointed we didn't get to see it for the 6, although I'm happy with the shutout.
Yeah, hard to complain.
Yeah, hard to complain.
Yeah.
Shout out Julie Allen for ending that Rivs player in the second.
Yeah, that was a crush. My goodness.
My God, I stood up. I was like, it's no hitting in the women's game, which I think is, I think it's time that we start looking at making hitting legal. But that got me fired up. Even though it was a penalty, honestly, way to just get some momentum for your team and really say hey, we're here and we're going to be tough and we're going to play with you.
Well, I think it was Alyssa Turner on Twitter who said that hit was incredible. And doesn't she do the socials for both those teams?
Yeah, I had so much fun watching her tweet. Tweet from Metro and back from the Toronto, be delete this, and then she'd be like, no.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to that one, the delete this, because insider info from the last episode. Yeah, she runs both accounts.
That's so funny. I mean, that's just hilarious.
I hope she gets a well-deserved nap after that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was a little disappointed she didn't accidentally tweet from the 6 as the Rivs or the Rivs from the 6.
Oh man, I'm glad that she didn't. I'm glad she did a great job.
Well, that's what I also like about this league is, just how visible and grassroots it all still feels, even while it's such a polished product. Like I said, it's just, you can see some of the machinations behind it. The players are all really great, just at responding on Twitter and just being interactive, and you get the sense that it's a league for the fans in many respects. It's not perfect, but there's a lot to like.
And there is something.
And going off that, and Alyssa mentioned it in our podcast, the immediacy of having the Twitch chat and having the ability to respond to that, I think is a huge boon for the league.
Yeah.
Oh man, them overpronouncing the second T in Toronto was just driving me. And then when people started pointing it out, they really started, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there is something kind of special about getting into the league at this point. You feel like you're kind of in on a bit of a secret, and it kind of feels like you're cheering on an original 6. It's gonna be fun to see it grow and say hey, we were doing a podcast back in 2021 about like what was going on. You do feel like you're in on that grassroots level and you're in on a bit of a secret.
Yeah. And this season for the Six is the original Six.
Yeah. So all
There you
sorts
go.
of fun stuff happening. So Mike, I guess for you, like who were you really high on from the Rivs in this game? Like who was maybe your player of the game?
Oh boy, let me see from the Riveters. I mean, Kelly Babstock met my expectations for her in her first game. I thought she was really good all over the ice. Packer, what I expected from her was just to be a confident player with the puck, and that's what I saw along the boards. Made it very difficult for players to strip the puck off of her. Very impressed by that. I mean, it's hard for me to pick a player of the game. You know, they sort of all blend together when you're still so new to a team. So I mean, it's hard not to go with the gal who got the shutout. So I'll say, you know, that they took my advice. You know, when you're getting shelled, you call Shelly, and 40 saves, hard to beat that.
Shelly shutout.
Yeah,
I hate that it sounds so good.
it's so good, man.
Yeah.
So good.
What a start. Yeah. For me, I'm really high on the goalie. I always have a soft spot for goalies. You know, I know
Yeah.
with the Leafs, especially Freddie Anderson takes some heat, but I love him. So I'm going to go with the goalie. I thought she did a really good job keeping him in. As well, Woods, I heard her name. I saw her with some like sweet hustle. There was a couple times where she was in against the boards and I was just like, yeah, like making the plays. But it's like you said, it's hard to tell them apart when you don't. And I keep looking like their names are on the bottom of the jersey and I keep looking at the top and I'm like, oh, like who is that? But yeah, I'm gonna go with the goalie on this one because I thought she really kept Toronto in it.
Yeah, I'm glad the both of you have the courage to also admit that they kind of all blend together when you're just getting the lay of the land. Don't really know the jersey numbers by heart or anything like that. So I'm gonna go. I know Alyssa Turner mentioned it, so I'm gonna defer to her and say Michaela Grant Mentis. I know she had a ton of shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, the two players who you mentioned, Grant Mentis and Woods, combined for 14 shots. So there you go.
Yeah. So one day they will go in, and I have a stellar meme lined up for that first goal. I'm very excited for the Twitter.
I'm excited to see it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
okay.
You're executing my vision, but
it was his idea, but he's not good enough to figure out how to use the Photoshop on it. So, yeah. Any parting thoughts on the game and like what you guys are looking forward to for the next games from both teams?
I expect more riveting action in the future.
Okay. Nick, what are you looking forward to for tomorrow's game with Boston?
I believe they're playing Minnesota. No.
Oh, maybe it is Minnesota.
I think
It's
they're playing
the default
Minnesota.
opponent, Boston. Yeah.
Well, what are you looking for the next game?
I'm looking forward to them scoring and you unleashing a great meme. Frankly,
yeah.
Short and simple.
Short and simple. Yeah, I'm just excited to see them play again. Like honestly, I'm really loving the jersey matchups. I don't think there's a single bad jersey in the NWHL. Like I was trying to figure out what's my favorite. Like Toronto 6 got Minnesota's got those black ones, and the Riveters have just like maybe one of the most elite jerseys in hockey. I'm looking forward to more elite jersey matchups. Just keeping it simple with that.
Yeah, the Toronto 6 were like the Ottawa Senators.
You dare! Don't you dare!
It's okay. I said the same thing, Mike.
It's a black jersey with a brand new logo that has a lot of red on it. It's not symmetrical, you know, it's got some interesting shoulder patches.
Listen,
gold accents.
Maybe the Ottawa Senators are copying the 6 because they want to have a team to look up to.
Hey, you know what? They're both excellent jerseys, and I think the 6 honestly could probably beat the Senators.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We want to keep these post-game recaps short and sweet. But if you have any final thoughts before we sign off here, anyone?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much, Nick. And we will catch you on the flip side when there's new games.
You got it.